Welcome back, dear students. This is our second video regarding the topic. It is time to call the bluff. Welcome back once again. I am Dr. Mangala Kumari BS, Assistant Professor in English. I am going to talk about it's time to call the bluff, which is prescribed for Bangalore University and Bangalore North University. In the first video, we talked about a few things regarding the topic. Let me remember you all those points. Okay, so the topic in this lesson, the author Sundar Sarkai talks about his previous column on the movie B2, means Bahubali 2. Okay, and he also talks about the values of the movie. Normally people claim, okay, and he also talks about the entertainment. Okay, he defined entertainment, and he also talks about the sports games as entertainment, and he asked a few questions regarding the entertainment, and of course entertainment in the public domain, entertainment in private are entirely different. Okay, they are entirely different, and he also expresses his worry at the end of the lesson. Okay, so what is his worry? He worries that um, people are going after worthless movies. This is worse than making worthless movies. Okay, so that is his worry, and we saw all these points in our previous video, dear students. Welcome back once again. In this video, we are going to see prose analysis of this lesson and views and ideas for comprehension on the text. Okay. Firstly, let us go to take up prose analysis. Okay. So how this prose, it is a prose piece, I have told you already, and how this prose is analyzed. Let's see, and let me divide this whole prose into three categories that are introduction, body, and conclusion. Okay, so the whole prose is divided into introduction, body, and conclusion. In the introduction, the author talks about, he introduces the topic. Okay, in the introduction part, in the first paragraph, he introduces the topic. He also tells that his last column was on the nature of the cinematic media, and the last column was also on a critical response to B2. B2 means Bahubali 2 movie. Okay, and that has become an example to illustrate this lesson. Okay, so and he got predictably strong responses from the readers regarding his last column, which was on Bahubali 2. And most of them were so upset. Why? Because it was critically analyzed. Okay. And most of the people drew on a cliche. Okay. Cliche means a worn out idea regarding the mainstream of cinema, Indian cinema especially. And here we have seen this much is introduction, and here, dear students, we have seen the author introducing the topic, okay, to the readers, and where he relates to his previous column. He refers to his previous column written by himself, and it was a response to the movie B2, Bahubali 2, and also the responses he got from many people. Okay, and this much is done in the first paragraph, and this is called introduction. Okay, so this introduction, body, conclusion, all these things are achieved through topic sentences and the supporting sentences in each and every paragraph. You must have heard in your previous classes topic sentences and supporting sentences. Topic sentences means, clearly let me tell you very briefly, topic sentence normally occupies the first sentence of a paragraph. If you take each paragraph as example, normally topic sentence will be the first sentence where the idea of the paragraph is um, introduced or is expressed. Okay, through the topic sentence, he introduces the idea of that particular paragraph. Each paragraph has one main idea. Okay, so that idea is expressed in the topic sentence, and what are the functions of all other sentences that are there in the paragraph. Those sentences just support the idea which is expressed in the topic sentence. Okay, so the first paragraph has a topic sentence where the author, Dr. Sundar Sarukar, introduces the topic, and that becomes topic sentence, and all other rest of the sentences will be supporting sentences. Okay, that is our introduction. Now let us go to the body of the lesson. In the body, what does the author do? He takes up all the points to analyze, okay, one by one, and he goes on analyzing in detail. He goes on arguing, he goes on exposing, he goes on analyzing in detail, one by one. Okay, so that is the body core of the lesson. Let us see what does he do, what he has done in the body of the lesson. It's time to call the bluff. Okay, so he gave the idea of how people claim that films are only for entertainment. Okay, and how they suggested him to realize that life is fun. Okay, so it's all for fun, don't take life so seriously. And author says, okay, the next point is how author responds to this cliche. Okay, author says that author, according to the author, this is the cliche. Okay, what is cliche? Movie is just for entertainment, people claim that, that is cliche. Okay, and he what to say, represent, he presents that cliche as a way to legitimize, a way to permit a form of laziness, and it is also called as ethical irresponsibility by the author. Okay, this cliche is ethical irresponsibility, and it's a kind of laziness. Okay, so that is his view, opinion regarding the cliche that films are just for entertainment. Say, third point, they don't question the people who claim that movies are for entertainment. They don't question what they mean by entertainment and use that word for other purposes. Which are the other purposes? They focus on things like nature. They focus on things like um, technicality of the movie, and how that Bahubali 2 made them proud as Indians, and the mythical quality of the movie, and the values like technicality, technical values, national values, aesthetic values, social narrative values. All those points they take up on all the they take up all those points, but they forget and they escape from what is entertainment. Okay, and they invoke these values to justify the film, and they can critic a fake sense of religion. They can also critic fake sense of religion, regressive quality of the movie, and semiotic quality of the movie, and feudalism that is dealt in the movie. Okay, so they take up all these points: feudalism, semiotics, and regressiveness of the movie. All that we talked in the previous video. Regressiveness in the sense the movie, the setup of the movie is very far ago past. Okay, where there was no electricity, no transportation, no automobile industries. Means retro. Okay, and semiotics means symbolically representing something, and feudalism in the sense how kings and queens were so dominating. They were, what to say, how they were dominating, how other people were inferior to them. Okay, how their wishes, likes, dislikes were so inferior, not at all important. Okay, that is feudalism. Okay, and next point, the same people who say that film is only for entertainment, and just forget, don't take it seriously, and they glorify the points like technicality, symbolism, feudalism, mythology that is dealt in the movie, all that. Okay, the same people demand censorship of other films where there is a subject or a notion that they don't like. Okay, and the same people demand the censorship of films with subjects which they don't like or they don't enjoy. Okay, and he wants to ask such people few questions. Which are those questions? He goes on listing the questions in the body of the rose. What is entertainment? In what sense does a film entertain the viewer? By entertainment, do they mean that they don't have to think or struggle to understand? Does a film entertain only through comedy or through item numbers? Okay, and if a film makes somebody cry or feel intensely sad, is it also entertainment? These are the list of questions he wants to ask those people. Okay, and in this aspect, he gives a decisive sentence in a paragraph, in a small paragraph. What is that decisive sentence? The idea of entertainment is a changing phenomenon. Okay, he decides, he comes to a decision that idea of entertainment is a changing phenomenon. When he and so that is his decisive sentence, and he gives his own example. Okay, with the illustrations example, he makes his argument authentic, convincing to the readers. Okay, when he watches sports, he gives the example of sports. When he watches sports, he gets so involved and agitated in it. That means he likes sports very much. And in that situation, a friend comes, a close friend comes to him and says, that friend doesn't like cricket at all. Sports in the sense, which sports? Actually cricket. Okay, he gets so involved in cricket, he likes cricket very much, he gets agitated while watching the cricket. So at that time his friend comes and tells him, actually that friend doesn't like the cricket. So he comes and tells him, relax, sports are just entertainment. Okay, are sports just entertainment? uh, they are not entertainment. Next point he says, and example, he gives another example to say that sports are not entertainment, but IPL is trying to prove that cricket is for entertainment, though it is not entertainment. Sports are about nationhood, sports are about power, sports are about the speed, sports are about effort, sports are about discipline. Cricket is about discipline. Cricket is about nationhood. Okay, and people who seriously invest in these sports like cricket, etc., it is blasphemous for them, unsacred for them to call sports as entertainment. That is the point he puts forth in the body. And what does it mean to say that a film is only for entertainment? He tells, he gives the definition of entertainment here in this part. Entertainment is amusement, it is to have pleasure, it is to relax, it is to have fun, and it is to be carefree, it is to be distracted also. Okay, and etc. Still many more explanations are there for entertainment. And here he comes to a decision regarding the entertainment. Nothing is so simple. Nothing is so simple. Why is Pakistan India match is so simple? It is just a mere entertainment? No. And a film with violence against women is just an entertainment? No. Sexist jokes that are there in a movie is just for mere entertainment? No. That is why nothing is so simple regarding the entertainment. That is his decisive sentence. Going ahead in this aspect, he says raucous drinking in public is also not for entertainment. And isn't cracking jokes at passing girls an entertainment for many? Though it is entertainment for many, it is not to be called as entertainment. It is punishable. Okay. And why are the above mentioned uh, things, situations are not entertainment? He puts a question mark. Okay. So why can't you people just what to say, forget them saying they are just for entertainment? That is why he says, again, one more conclusive, decisive sentence. He says, nothing is harmless in public domain. Nothing is fun without a cost in the public domain. Nothing is harmless in public domain. Nothing is fun without a cost in the public domain. For some, it is fine to show pornographic film in public, saying it is just meant to entertain. A large number will surely say it is entertainment, but it is a punishable thing. It is not easy. Okay, it is not an entertainment. And why? Because such movie maker has to. Such movie has to answer the public concerns. Okay, it is a punishable issue, and it is answerable issue. So then it cannot be called as an entertainment. So in this way, students, with the illustrations, examples, with rhetorical questions in the sense, actually no need of answering those questions, right? So to create, to catch the attention of the audience, these questions are put forth by the writers. Answers will be given by themselves later. Okay, so such questions are rhetorical questions. Asking these rhetorical questions, he authenticizes his argument, his opinion, his point of view regarding the entertainment, the notion entertainment. So this much is there in the body part of the lesson. It's time to call the block. Now we are going to the conclusive part, that is conclusion. So in the conclusion, what is he done? The author, he says, he gives his opinion, he gives his conclusion, he gives his recommendation. That is conclusion. Okay. And normally in the conclusion, what happens? Reiterating the main points that are told in the body. In addition to it, giving the author's own opinion, recommendation, suggestions. That is conclusion. Okay. So in the conclusion, he says, film is a product of system indebted to the demands of larger society arising from the support of it. Okay. And filmmakers are making films because society allows them to do it. They're always answerable to ethical questions asked by the society, larger part of the society, even after censorship. Okay, even after censorship, filmmakers are answerable to the ethical questions asked by the larger part of the society. That is why nothing is so easy, simple when it involves the public domain. Mere entertainment is not an excuse. So no one can say movies are just entertainment. It is not an excuse. It is not an excuse for a film to show what it wants. Especially for films, it is not an excuse. Okay, so they cannot show what they want in the movie. Hence, films are only entertainment. That concept is there, no? That is a cynical attempt to bypass any kind of responsibility, to escape from the responsibility. People say that it is just for entertainment, movie is just for entertainment, right? Author's worry is expressed at the very end of the lesson. What is his worry? His worry is many viewers go into it without thinking about it. Go into it in the sense, go into the movie without thinking about the movie. This is greater worry than the production of countless worthless films, right? So this is his worry. It is so clearly told in a single sentence. That is the end of the lesson. This is called prose analysis. Okay, prose analysis involves introduction, body, conclusion. In the introduction, author introduces the topic, and in the body, whatever is there in his mind, few points, so he chalks out those few points in a logical order, and he takes up one by one all those points and goes on analyzing, describing, illustrating, substantiating, in detail. Okay, that is the body. And in conclusion, he gives his decisive ideas on film as the product of the system, and he also clearly puts forth his worry. Okay, so that is called prose analysis. And now we are going to see views and ideas for comprehension on the text. What are the views, what are the ideas are expressed by Dr. Sundar Sarkar in this lesson? Okay, to comprehend this lesson, the text, let us see in the next part of the video, students. Yeah, here in the introduction part, he talks about B2. B2, you remember always, B2 means Bahubali 2. There was a critical response on Bahubali 2 by the author in his last column. Okay, column writing, columns I have told you in the previous video already. So it was, his last column was on the quality of cinematic medium, especially in India, Indian cinema. And on the critical response, he illustrates this lesson here. Okay, the critical responses he got for that column. On that basis, he is going to illustrate this lesson. And of course, he says that there was a strong response from many people. Many people were so upset at his response towards Bahubali 2, and it was not surprising thing. Of course, not surprisingly. He received those things. It was not a surprising at all. Their response, why it was not a surprising? Because their response was worn out cliche about the mainstream of Indian films. What is the cliche? The cliche is that films are only for entertainment. They claim that it is just for entertainment. Forget, why do you waste columns writing on the movies? Movies are just for entertainment. That is the cliche. Okay, so that has to be called bluff now. It is not a cliche. Okay, cliche, why? Because um, cliche is a way to legitimize a particular form of laziness, and it is also called as an ethical irresponsibility. So if we forget in that way, saying that films are only for entertainment, let them make worthless movies, let the people watch worthless movies. If you go on forgetting, if you go on ignoring such things in this way, it is your ethical irresponsibility. Okay, so that is the author's intention here. And the responses illustrate clearly that those people, those individuals, do not question what they mean by entertainment. What is he saying here, the author? People who claim that, oh, Bahubali 2 is just for entertainment, they don't know what is the meaning of entertainment. Okay, they don't question what do they mean by entertainment. And instead of answering this question, instead of saying what is entertainment, okay, what are the features, what are the functions of entertainment, they use other purposes, okay, to escape. What are the other purposes? Technical quality of Bahubali 2, and how Bahubali 2 has made them great as Indian, and the importance of showing Indian mythology in the movie, kings, queens, glorification of their lives, all that thing, and war, fighting, glorification of bloodshed, killing, all those things. And they also claim the purer values, or like technical values, national values, aesthetic, social, narrative values of the movie. They talk about all these things except entertainment related to the movie. They invoke criticizing on these qualities, and they justify the film. Okay, so they criticizing all these qualities regarding the movie, they justify the movie. This is wrong, he says. Can critic those people who claim all these qualities of Bahubali 2, they can critique the fake sense of religion in the movie, and they can also talk about the regressive values of the movie, visual semiotics of the movie, and feudalism of the movie that is there. And they would also be the first ones to demand the censorship of other films with the subject that they don't like, they don't enjoy. Okay, and but not with this. They don't demand censorship regarding Bahubali 2, but they demand censorship for other films with the subjects that they don't like, they don't enjoy. Okay, so he wants to ask such people many questions, list of questions which I have repeated so many times in our previous video also and in this video also. Let me tell you once again, what is entertainment? In what sense does a film entertain viewer? By entertainment, do they mean that they don't have to think or struggle to understand? Does a film entertain only through comedy or only through the item numbers? If a film makes somebody cry or feel intensely sad, is it also entertainment? These are the questions he wants to ask those people who say film is only for entertainment, Bahubali too, and it is so good. Mythology, regressive quality, national, what is that, aesthetic quality, all that. The idea of entertainment, the author says, is changing, and he talks about how he gets involved in sports, how he gets agitated in sports, and his friend comes and tells him that, hey, forget it, sports is just for entertainment, relax, it is just for entertainment. But is a sport, are sports just entertainment? Thinkable question. Okay, think twice. Of course, IPL is struggling to make sports are for entertainment. They are entertaining IPL. Still, sports are not just entertainment. In addition to entertaining people, they are also, especially cricket. Cricket is of nationhood. It is of power. They are of the speed. They are of effort and discipline. Okay, and for the people who really seriously involve in sports, it is blasphemous if people call it entertainment. Blasphemous means unsacred, not sacred at all, sacrilege. And he asks, what does it mean, film is only for entertainment? What does it mean if you say film is just for entertainment, film is only mere entertainment? What does it mean? What do you mean by it? He's emphatically asking that question to the readers, viewers of the movies, especially this particular movie, Bahubali 2. To be entertained means, he says, it is to be amused, it is to have pleasure, it is to relate, to have fun. Okay, and it is to be carefree, it is to be distracted. Entertainment is to escape, entertainment is to enjoy, entertainment is to fantasize. See, so many definitions, concepts he gave for entertainment. Pakistan India match is not at all entertainment. Okay, so film showing the violence against women and sexist jokes with the in the movie, raucous drinking in public, and cracking jokes at passing girls, these situations are not entertainment. Of course, they are punishable. Okay, nobody accepts it, even though very few enjoy such things, but they are punishable, right? And these are not justified as entertainment. Of course, nothing is harmless in public domain, nothing is fun without a cost. These two things he says very clearly. Nothing is harmless in the public, and at the same time, nothing is fun without a cost. You have to pay. Okay, so if you uh, make anything funny, you have to pay in the public domain. So pornographic films are not entertainment in public. Though large number enjoy it, entertain it, but they are not for entertainment. It is a punishable issue. Showing a pornographic film in public is different from watching in private. The film has to answer public concerns if it is shown in public, right? In public domain. There is nothing that is mere entertainment when it is part of the public view. So one more emphatic statement told by Dr. Sundar Sarkar in the lesson is, there is nothing that is mere entertainment when it is part of public view. Okay, so we are almost coming to the conclusion of the lesson, students. He concludes with, our author concludes his lesson, his review. It's time to call the bluff with this. Okay, with the few statements, emphatic statements. Which are those few emphatic statements? Let us see. Film is a product of a system. Film is a product of a system indebted to the demands of larger part of society. Film is indebted, grateful, okay, thankful to the larger part of the society. Why? Society supports it, supports filmmaking. That is why it has to be indebted. It has to be grateful to the society. Why? In many societies, it is very difficult to make films. In some, if you think about other countries, in some societies, very strict societies, it's very difficult to make films, right? So they question on dress code, they question on so many things. Okay, life is not so free in some countries, in some societies. So in India, filmmaking is supported by the society. That is why films are made. That is why it is the product of a system. And large part of the society supports it. That is why films are made. Our filmmakers can make any film because our society allows them to do it. Okay, they are always, at the same time, they are always answerable to ethical questions asked by the society, even after the censorship. Censorship, you know, no? Censorship, censor organization is there in order to control the films. Okay, so it cannot show whatever it wants. It cannot, dialogues cannot speak whatever it wants, right? So in that way, censor is there. Even after censorship, film is answerable to the ethical questions, concerns of the public. Mere entertainment is a tangible excuse. It is a tangible excuse. It is not a great excuse. Mere entertainment. Films are mere entertainment. That concept is there, no? That statement is there, no? That is just a tangible excuse for a film to show what it wants. Okay, so it cannot be the authentic excuse. Entertainment is nothing more than a cynical attempt. It is not that strong attempt. It is a feeble attempt to bypass, to avoid the responsibility in creating the public product. Films are public product. Okay, so public product, when you are making a public product, you have to be responsible. You should hold certain responsibilities. Okay, so that is why it is not an easy thing. You cannot show whatever it wants, whatever you want, right? So you are answerable to the ethical questions of the society. So that is why films are mere entertainment is a cynical attempt to avoid your responsibility, right? In creating a public product. Films are public product. Be careful while making the movies, because you are answerable to the society even after censorship. The fact that so many viewers buy into this myth without thinking about it is of far greater worry than the production of worthless films anywhere in the world, not only in India but also other parts of the world. What is worthless? Watching worthless movies is a greater risk than making worthless movies. What is the greater risk, or what is the worry? What is worst? Watching worthless movies is worse than making worthless movies. Not only in India, almost all parts of the world. Okay, with this sentence, he concludes his lesson. It's time to call the block. It's a film review. Okay, it's a prose. Dear students, we have come to the end of the video. In this video, we have talked about nature of cinematic medium. We also saw how film is not just an entertainment. It is a cliche. Okay, so cliche is the titular bluff. Titular in the sense which comes in the title. So bluff is the cliche. What is cliche? What is bluff? Film is just entertainment. That is a bluff. Okay, it is not entertainment. Now I hope you have clearly understood the topic, the title of the topic. And he clearly says that films are not just entertainment. Sports, we also saw sports and other situations as examples of entertainment, right? And Public entertainment is different, private entertainment is different. Okay, that is the opinion of the author. And at the end, author says enjoying worthless films is far worse than making worthless movies. Okay, so dear students, um, um, I hope that you have understood all the points, all the views of the author Dr. Sundar Sarukkai. So I'm going to end the video. Thank you for listening to me all this time. I'm going to end the meeting.